Hey guys, it's Babs with Listen to Your Inner You. Thank you for watching and subscribing. My website is listentoyourinneryou.com. You can purchase sessions on there. Also, if you feel like donating, I have a donation button below, and I would love if you help me out. If don't, I'm doing these videos no matter what. But today I wanted to talk about, not but, I don't know why I said but. Today I wanted to talk about core beliefs. Yay! So why do I choose working on core beliefs or any belief over my manifestation? Well, first of all, most of the time you find the core beliefs by manifesting something pretty big, money, a person. It's easier to find it that way because core beliefs usually show up in the third step, which is finding the resistance with the but questions, right? Watch my video on manifesting steps. It's called Manifesting Steps 1, 2, 3, 4. I learned them from Amy. You learn how to find the things and do the way I manifest and how I teach it to people, and it works. It's worked for me. I got my X pack in the back, in the past, not in the back, in the backpack. But that's how I successfully, deliberately manifested my guy back the first time around. And then finding all those core beliefs and major beliefs. So the reason why I always choose working on a belief over concentrating on a manifestation is because I probably found it through the resistance step by finding what the resistance is around the person or the money that I'm manifesting. And B, not only can it be resistance, the limiting belief can be resistance, it can also cause attachment. So if you find a big belief such as I'm worth it, take the opposite, obviously. I'm not going to keep repeating the negative versions of it. I am worth it, I am good enough, and if you find the opposites of those, I'm deserving, right? Then you really are drawn to the SP or the work or whatever the big manifestation is because you're lacking that belief and they are showing you this. So our SPs tend to push out what we desire, which is actually not a person, but to feel worth it, to feel worth the effort, to feel worth the love, to feel worth the fight for you, right? Feel worth the relationship, or to be good enough for all of those things. So you're craving the feeling of feeling good enough or worth it, and that's why you're desiring that particular end result, and not because of that particular person. Although you click with these people, I know it because I like specific people because they represent a specific personality too, but they also always represent by my belief. And an SP for me and most of my clients, all of my clients, pushes out the belief in both directions. So I am worth it. They push out the negative version and the positive, and it usually starts with the positive and show you, hey, you can have all of this, but you have that negative belief in place and it's preventing you. It's like you talking to you saying, hey, you have this belief and this is what can push out. You feel amazing and on cloud 9 and powerful and loved, but you're going to have to do a little work and push this out, right? So that's why I always choose working on the beliefs over the manifestation because A, I found the belief through the manifestation most likely, and B, it can cause resistance and or attachment because you're lacking that belief, therefore you're so much more attracted to that end result. When we lack something, we're really drawn to it. And then once we work through it, we don't need that end result, and that's when it pops up. Manifesting always works, right? But don't count on it working because then you are looking for certainty. Then you're attached towards the outcome happening and then making you feel better. You're going to have to learn, this is manifesting, you're going to have to learn that if you want this desire, you're going to have to raise your vibration. You're going to have to travel and keep changing and shifting into that vibration that your end result is in. That's how I learned manifesting. So you keep shifting into different vibrations and eventually you shift, like your manifestation is here, and then you keep shifting and eventually you're aligned. And then it happens. That's how it always works. That's why sometimes SPs show up after years and you didn't even do anything on purpose, right? But you worked through it at some point. Or they can show up way later. But when you do this deliberately, we're not talking years. When you do something deliberately and you're waiting for years on a result, you are not doing something correctly, and it probably is either focus work or resistance or detaching. Could be either one or all of the three. I don't know where you're at. You're gonna have to judge by yourself with the 4 steps I teach, or book a session to help you. Sometimes it's easier to have another person help you and reflect it back to you and find you and figure it out with you, right? Sometimes you don't see the forest because of all the trees. What's the saying? Something like that. I think almost every language has that saying. You can't see the forest because of all the trees. I don't know how to say it. Anyway, so you want to make sure that you address these core beliefs, because the core beliefs, it's not that I did this limiting belief on purpose. I have observed this. The limiting beliefs, the older they are than their core beliefs, the more they tend to override newer beliefs. So if I have the opposite of I'm worth it in place, and I also have the newer belief that I'm the love of his life and he only wants me, but he has a third party, or he or she, right? And they're with that third party, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, why is he not with me? Because I believe that he's the love of, that I'm the love of his life, and he said it to me, and he's showed me, but then he chooses not to be with me. Well, choosing is always about I'm worth it. I'm worth it is big about choosing you. If you choose you, others will choose you. If you make yourself a priority, others will make you a priority. That's how this works. That's how basic Everyone Is You Pushed Out can be. I have a million videos about Everyone Is You Pushed Out, whole playlist. So choose you, and choosing you is by addressing those core beliefs. Again, another reason why you want to choose changing these core beliefs is to make you feel better, to work through the trauma, to heal, so that eventually you can have that relationship that you deserve and desire so much. You want a healthy relationship. You want 100%. And although we don't always feel like we get 100%, even if you have your core beliefs in check, it feels at the moment at 100%, because sometimes that's as much as we have to give. So instead of, oh, here's another one, right? Don't say I'm trying my best. You're not trying your best. You're either doing your best or you're not doing your best. But at all times, I want you to start saying that you are doing the best you can. The other person is doing the best they can at that moment in time with what you have in place and what they have in place. Because that's what it is. It's not trying. It's never trying. Trying implies that you're not really doing it. You're either doing it or you're not doing it. I look at it as more of a black and white, because you are always doing your best you can with the programming and the habits and all of that you have in place right now. So go from there. And say, hey, I want to change my core beliefs because I deserve this healthy relationship where they don't hurt me all the time, or where they don't walk away, or where I don't constantly lose people, or I get to keep the job, I get to keep the money, I keep getting more money, I get to make more money. We all deserve to make $500,000 or your equivalent, or $1 million a year, whatever you desire. That's what you deserve to have. You desire it for a reason. But it is, I hate the word block, but it is blocked or in resistance because you have these core beliefs, and they can cause resistance and or attachment. They can cause both, or one or the other, very badly, because you're needing the money to show that you're worth it or successful. You're needing that person to make you feel loved or better, etc., etc. Are you getting that? So the reason why we desire things we desire is because we're lacking a certain belief or thought or whatever, right? So we need to heal that belief. And that is why I always choose working on core beliefs or manifestation. I have had plenty of clients who came to me, hey Babs, I want to manifest a person. I'm like, okay, cool. So we dig up, or I already know ahead of time because of what they wrote me in the email, that they have core beliefs that are off. And then I say, hey, how are your core beliefs? It's usually one of the first things I ask in a session. And they're like, oh, well, I know some of it is off. I'm like, well, start working on the core beliefs. And then we get to the part where we go through steps 1, 2, 3, 4 for the manifestation itself. And then the core beliefs shows right up again. So I say, hey, you have the choice here. You can do just the core belief work, or you can do the manifesting work. You can try to do both, but it might be a little bit hard because they're the same process. They will look pretty much the same, and you're not going to know which one to apply unless you just start applying both the manifesting part and the core belief or belief part work through. So maybe pick one or the other or do both and see how that goes. That's up to you, obviously. But I always recommend all of my clients to go for the core belief first, because the core belief showed up in the resistance. Therefore, it's part of the resistance, and it will keep creating all these stories that pop up, because beliefs create stories and they create thoughts and they create emotions, right? So we need to heal that belief to then eliminate all those stories and then eventually align with our desire, right? Simple. And you want to work through them because they're keeping you attached. And the more you work through the core beliefs and put a little less emphasis on the manifesting part itself, then you notice that over time you start detaching automatically more, because you're working on the cause of the attachment, which is often the belief. And then eventually the resistance goes away because you're working on that belief. So you're eliminating 3 problems at once by concentrating on the core belief first. And then eventually the better you feel working through the core belief, the more you put attention back on the manifestation. That's totally okay. But I always say to my clients, pick one or the other. It's easier. I would suggest not to do both at the same time, but do what you want. If you know how to handle it, apply both or all, that's up to you. I just suggest pick one or the other. And I always go with the manifesting because I always go with the core belief, because the more I work through the core belief, the easier it is to manifest something, because it creates a lot less reluctant, resisting stories. Sorry for all my speakos, I guess. There's a word for typo, but there's no word for speako, for my misspeaking. So yeah, that's why I choose the core beliefs over the manifesting when I find a core belief, because it caused all of this shit in the first place. So why not address it? And then I put more and more emphasis. The more I work through it, the more I put more emphasis on the manifestation. But you do want to do both, because when we dig up the resistance in the manifesting steps, you're going to have to work through that at the same time as the core belief, because it's going to bug you too. So you got to do both. But I always say do the core belief first. Oh, and here's another thing. I had a lot of clients say they picked the manifesting over the core belief, which is a natural way to do, because you're craving this person or the money or whatever you're manifesting, something big, right? You're craving it, you're desiring it for a reason, right? The lack and all of that belief or resistance. So they start with the manifesting part, and then they realize every single one of them came back to me and emailed me or in a session said, hey, Babs, I did the manifesting for a couple of weeks, and then I decided I'm going to just do me and do the core belief. And that is so awesome. And I'm so proud of all of them, and you, if you've done that, because that is choosing you. If you choose you, you eventually will attract these manifestations much easier and faster, because the more you choose you, the more you put priority and time into you, and others will reflect that back. And you're working through these core beliefs, so you're healing trauma, and then you're automatically happier and healthier, and you just glow more, and people are more attracted to you, and they want to be around you. They want you, right? So all of what you see with me is me doing core belief work. If you are attracted to me, and I'm not talking physical attraction, just if you are drawn to me for a reason, it is because of the stuff I've done and worked through. And that's how it goes. That's how it works. We're attracted to certain things because they represent something. So I'm teaching you how to heal that and have that in yourself. And the core beliefs are always the way to go. So again, I've had plenty of clients say, hey, I'm doing the manifestation first. I'm like, okay, do whatever you want, because that's a desire. It's a thing. And eventually they all switched to working on the core belief. And they said, Babs, after a couple weeks, even with all the ugly purging, detoxing, and old energy, they all said, Babs, I'm feeling so much better. Even on the crappy days, I feel better than I ever have. And then eventually they go back to the manifesting part. And that's awesome. But do what works for you. I'm just here to give you the tools and help you feel better and manifest the things that you want. I hope this helped. Have a great day.